Ghana's firefighting ability is in serious crisis as a significant number of fire tenders are either dysfunctional or out of commission. The situation is even dire in the Oti and Upper East regions where 100% of appliances have serious problems, making it difficult for firefighters to use. Volta, Greater Accra, including the fire service headquarters itself, are facing a crisis situation in responding to fires. The details are contained in a response from the Ghana National Fire Service to a right to information request submitted to the service. Joy News' editor Fred Smith joins me for details. Now, what does the fire service say is the level of preparedness to respond to fires in emergency situations?
Well, first, I will need to understand the scope of the work the fire service does. What they do go beyond firefighting to include road accident rescues, saving drowning people, rescuing those trapped in collapsed buildings, flood rescue operations, and even dealing with bee attacks. And these, you agree with me, are life or death situations where time is of the essence if the fire service will have to respond to them. The service indicates in the response that it is well prepared to combat any undesired fires. However, the data on its firefighting equipment which we obtained shows otherwise and exposes the struggles within the Ghana National Fire Service in discharging its duties.
Well, so for the data that you obtained, let's talk about the availability of engines for the firefighters. Do they have enough?
Well, you know, Ghana's population, 30.8 million plus people here, and there are only 248 fire engines across the entire country. Now, what is more serious is that 133 of these 248 fire engines are either faulty or not functioning at all. And that's representing 53.6%. So more than half of all fire engines in Ghana today are either faulty or not functioning at all. And some of the common issues with the fire tenders are engine malfunctions, brake faults, control board problems, and electrical faults.
And which areas are most affected?
Well, there are two regions with 100% appliance problem, and that's the Upper East and Oti regions. In the Volta region, 15 out of the 17 fire engines there are either faulty or not functioning at all. The Upper West region has 14 fire tenders. 12 of them are not working. They are in a similar situation. In the Greater Accra region, around 60% of fire engines are either faulty or out of service, and critical areas like Adenta, Abelemkpe, Trade Fair, and Tema are left with only one operational track, which may also be in poor condition. And even the national headquarters is struggling. Whether it's here, the fire service headquarters is also struggling. So the fire service has 6 out of the 8 engines there being faulty or out of service.
I definitely can imagine the impact this will have, but you have the data. Tell me the impact it's having in our firefighting.
Well, I'll give you the impact later, but let me just give you a bit more on the areas affected. At Kolebu, there's none at all.
What?
The Kolebu station. And you know Kolebu is close to a major hospital and areas where the population is quite dense. Wow. They don't have at all because that's broken down. In Weja, they also don't have. They recently had, but that one has developed an engine problem. So in the RTI response, they indicate that it has an engine problem, so it's out of commission. Now, we investigated further and got to understand that this engine was sent from Weja to support firefighting operations in Kaswa, nearby Kaswa, and on its way, it caught fire itself. And so it never got to the destination.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, I'm only thinking about the impact that will have. And now I'm even more concerned about Kolebu, knowing that that hospital over there serves not just only Ghana, but West Africa,
Indeed.
The region. Yeah. And so I want to understand the impact this can have.
So when there's fire outbreak in Kolebu, for instance, they'll have to move a fire engine from the headquarters, which is already struggling. So assuming that there's fire around Makola or somewhere that they're dealing with, it will be almost impossible for them to move to Kolebu, or maybe rely on Dansoman, which has its fair share of the problems that we are talking about. So all of these and the shortages that we are facing indicate that if you have a fire issue it will take the fire service a very long time to get there, even if they get there at all.
Wow.
And to compound this, the service indicates that a good number of the fire hydrants, so assuming they're able to move there, second thing will be to get water to extinguish the fire. That one, they still have problems with those as well.
Thank you. I know that you follow the story to bring us updates. Thank you so much, Fred Smith. Now